If you want to know what the entire internet is thinking, skip social media and open Google Trends. In the first week of July 2026, search interest exploded around 5 stories that have almost nothing in common, except that millions of people needed answers at the same time. This is the real pulse of the planet, not what influencers say is trending, but what ordinary people type when something scares them, excites them, or changes the rules overnight. Number 1. The heat dome. Around the 4th of July holiday, a massive high-pressure system parked over the central and eastern United States, breaking temperature records and putting more than 260 million Americans under heat alerts. Public health officials reported dozens of heat-related deaths and hundreds of hospitalizations as humidity made it feel even hotter than the thermometer showed. In India, searches for heatwave safety spiked at the same time, making extreme heat one of the few truly global Google trends this month. A heat dome is not just hot weather. It is an atmospheric lid that traps hot air near the ground. Scientists stress hydration, cooling centers, and checking on elderly neighbors. Search interest here is driven by survival, not curiosity. Heat domes also stress power grids when air conditioning demand surges, which is why utility companies issue conservation warnings during prolonged events. Number 2. The FIFA World Cup. For the first time, 48 nations are competing across Canada, Mexico, and the United States, the largest World Cup ever hosted. Google Trends data shows breakout searches for matches involving teams that rarely dominated headlines before. Iraq, Uzbekistan, Jordan, Haiti, and DR Congo, alongside Brazil, France, and Spain. A breakout query on Trends means interest jumped more than 5,000% in days. Fans are Googling unfamiliar players, pronunciation guides, and how the new 48-team format actually works. The tournament turns every upset into a global classroom. For creators, that means highlight clips go viral, but explainers about the format and underdog nations often outperform raw goals and search traffic. Number 3. Agentic AI. ChatGPT remains the most searched term on Google in July, but the fastest rising tech story is Google's shift at I/O 2026 toward AI that does tasks for you, not just answers questions. Gemini 3.5, Gemini Spark, and Gemini Omni dominated coverage. Coding agents, proactive assistants, and AI video tools that edit real footage. Creators rushed to test Omni's visual effects, while critics warned about AI slop flooding feeds. The search spike is really 2 questions. What can this do for my job? And can I trust what I see online anymore? Meanwhile, computer file-style explainers about token costs and agentic coding bills are also surging. Because people want to understand the economics behind the hype. Number 4. The Venezuela Earthquakes. On June 24th, twin magnitude 7+ quakes struck near Caracas, collapsing hundreds of buildings and triggering one of the largest search spikes of the month worldwide. People Googled magnitude scales, aftershock maps, and how to help from abroad. Disaster searches follow a predictable curve, a sharp peak in the first 48 hours, then a long tail of people trying to understand plate tectonics and building safety. The humanitarian story moves fast. The science behind strike-slip faults stays relevant for years. If you see a magnitude number in headlines, remember, each whole number up is roughly 32 times more energy released, a detail millions searched for this week. Number 5. Malaysia's under 16 social media ban. In 2026, the policy took effect. Children under 16 cannot hold social media accounts, and platforms must verify age with official ID through electronic Know Your Customer checks. Parents, teens, and tech companies flooded Google with questions about privacy, enforcement, and whether Australia or the United States might follow. It is a case study in how regulation now spreads country to country at the speed of a trending headline. So why does Google Trends matter? Because it shows relative interest, not absolute truth. A score of 100 means peak popularity for that term in the window you selected. Google now layers Gemini on top to group related queries and explain spikes in plain language. For creators, that means you can spot a rising topic before the evening news writes the headline, if you know how to read the graph without confusing a fad for a movement. The trick is pairing trends with primary sources, Reuters, AP, government agencies, so you explain the spike without amplifying rumors. 5 stories, 1 pattern. When the world gets confusing, people search before they scroll. Which of these trends surprised you? Comment below and subscribe for next week's Google Pulse Check.